Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of The Dave Neal Show. Happy Friday to all of you guys. Court is not in session today in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation lawsuit. As we know, it was the second day yesterday that Amber Heard testified. And the question is, why does the public not believe Amber Heard? There's a hashtag trending with 15,000 tweets, hashtag Amber Heard is a psychopath. Well, rather than just relying on hearsay from random internet folk, we're going to look at what Dr. Kirk Honda has to say about histrionic personality disorder, the abandonment that happens because you can't garner attention. Also, Court TV has a body language expert. We're going to look at that person and also see what a few others are saying regarding why people might not be believing Amber Heard, at least to the depth that they're believing Johnny Depp. Now, let's get right into it. Johnny Depp on TMZ here. Rockstar welcome as he arrives to court. Amber expected to testify. This was from Wednesday. Let's just see the type of response he's getting out there. We love Johnny Depp signs.
We love you, Johnny.
Really all women. Most women out there. So they're at the courtroom in Virginia. There he is. So what's the why are we deciding that we're believing him and not her? And, you know, there's a lot to talk about here. Psychology in Seattle is the YouTube channel that Dr. Kirk Honda has, and he does fantastic work. I'm going to play several of his clips right now regarding what could be the case based on the evidence and the statements from both sides.
Which drove her to concoct, to make up a story that was, at first, designed to keep him. And then, when he made it clear that finally, after all he had endured, he was done, was designed to recast herself as an abuse survivor.
They are saying, no, in fact, Johnny Depp was not violent and did not abuse Amber. But in fact, Johnny Depp wanted to leave the relationship and was telling Amber Heard this. And then, according to the lawyer right now, Amber Heard wanted to retain the relationship with Johnny Depp and made up lies or something along the lines of violence or chaos or conflict. Then when Johnny Depp said, that's not going to work on me, no, we're really done, then Amber Heard started to spread lies about him. I, of course, have no idea about Amber Heard, but if someone did suffer from significant borderline and histrionic and they were going through a breakup, of course, not everyone with those diagnoses would act this way. At first, the breakup or the signals of losing their partner would be devastating to them. You know, you've heard me talk about borderline before. I won't go over it again, but essentially it's abandonment and rejection trauma and betrayal trauma from the past. And then when that's triggered, even by the slightest of things, there's massive hurt and then massive anger. When there's real rejection, then you can imagine the amount of pain that someone goes through who has those kinds of traumas. Borderline personality disorder. Histrionic is very similar. The traumas are different. It's lack of abandonment trauma, or lack of attention trauma, essentially. But it's a similar premise that it's based on rejection, abandonment. It's sort of abandonment because you're not good enough to garner attention, sort of a thing. Anyway, so then the massive amount of pain, enormous crying, enormous depression, enormous anxiety, falling into the abyss, total emptiness, maybe even engaging in destructive behaviors, non-suicidal self-injury, drinking as a way of trying to cope. And when that didn't work, maybe on the other side of that initial phase, then the individual might be seething with anger because of the hurt. You know, we all go through this, right? When we get dumped, we're hurt and then we get angry. But for the borderline histrionic individual, they're going to be hurt times 10 and angry times 10 as a result of being hurt.
Wow. So I just love the way he puts it there, Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm going to share one more clip from him on what may have happened if Amber lied and why the public thinks that might be the case. Now, we know the public actually gets to see a lot of information that isn't presented in the court, whether it wasn't allowed or, you know, for whatever reason, evidence that didn't make it to the court. But that doesn't mean that it's right. You know, a lot of people will have confirmation bias. We'll search for specific things, as you saw in yesterday's video. We'll search for Amber saying certain lines that were also in movies, and they must be the same. And it's like, well, you know, the English language is going to have overlap. So let's go to the 24:49 mark right now and see what he has to say if Amber lied.
Has an exaggerated version of this. if Amber Heard has borderline and histrionic, if she lied, if she made up the abuse or...
And we say if because Dr. Kirk Honda is not her psychologist, right? So we can't fully know all this.
Greatly exaggerated it. For individuals like that, and you hook them up to a lie detector test, if one existed, it doesn't exist, but if one existed, they might pass because they believe it to be true. I'll tell you a story about a client, and I always change details to mask identities, but I had a client who we had a tense moment in a session. She suffered from borderline personality. It was couples therapy, and it was the wife, and the wife and I had kind of a tense moment, and the session didn't end very well. And I thought, well, I'll see them next week and we'll talk about it. That's always the thing about therapy. You always have the next session and you can talk about it, and maybe I could apologize because sometimes I don't say the right thing or I'm triggered myself or something. And that can be a really reparative moment for people with borderline, a therapist that actually takes responsibility and apologizes. Anyway, it's an opportunity, but they canceled the next appointment. They canceled the next few appointments. And I thought, oh no, there must have been a rupture there that was bigger than I detected. I knew there was something. I detected a little rupture, but it looks like she doesn't want to ever come back because of the rupture. So I actually called them, we talked about it, and in fact, I found out there was a rupture, and I said, well, if you'd like to come back and we could talk about it, I'd love to do that. And if I've done anything wrong, then I'm absolutely up for taking responsibility for that. And so she tentatively agreed. The husband was all for it. They came in, and I discovered that the wife believes that I told her something along the lines of that she was a piece of crap or something. Like, I can't even say the words because I don't want to get flagged on YouTube, but it was some horrible thing that she thought that I said. And I said, oh, no, I didn't say that. And I thought it would be a simple misunderstanding. And she would quickly say, oh, well, maybe you said this, or, I thought we would enter into a conversation, but she doubled down. She said, no. I heard you more than once say da-da-da-da. And
I love hearing from the psychologist here, because it's one thing to have a friend say, no, I didn't say that. It's another, to have a clinical psychologist say, this is what's going on. People aren't always lying to your face and lying to just be deceptive and malicious. They actually believe that to be true. And if Amber Heard is lying, or if she is not telling the objective truth, it could be a story that either she concocted or made up. We really just don't know. Now, of course, this can all apply to Johnny Depp as well. It can all apply that he's the one lying on the stand saying he didn't strike her, and he actually did. Now, the thing is, there's been a lot of evidence and photos taken, but we have yet to see real smoking gun evidence that he did hit her. The 20-minute mark, Dr. Kirk Honda explains why some people might not believe that Amber Heard looks remorseful enough, and he cites the Amanda Knox case.
Carry off the baby and did in fact eat the baby, tragically. So it's this really horrible story. Another story that I've reviewed quite extensively is the Amanda Knox case in Italy. If you're familiar with that case, her roommate had been murdered. They didn't know who did it, but Amanda Knox and her boyfriend right afterwards were consoling each other and also making out on camera, just off from the crime scene. When people looked at that, they thought, oh, she must be guilty. And it's ridiculous. It doesn't just extend to crimes, it extends to just more mundane things, like when you go through a breakup or a divorce or something, and say you start dating 6 months later, people will think that you're not properly grieving. Or if a very important loved one dies in your life, and the next day you hear a joke and you laugh, the individual will feel like there's something wrong with them. Why am I laughing at that joke? I should be grieving. And research shows that there are various different reactions after an event like that. So when you go through abuse, and I think her claim is she was being abused regularly throughout the relationship, the divorce is now happening, and say you go out with your sister, have a couple of drinks, and you joke around, and maybe you saw something. The fact that we have this security camera of them joking around about it, it has that flavor to it for me.
Okay, excellent point, that people will react in different ways to different situations. People will laugh when it might not be the appropriate moment. We see Johnny Depp on his courtside laughing and Amber switching from one emotion to the other. So it's nice to hear from a psychologist that it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect what the truth is or isn't. But of course, in the court of public opinion, they see Amber Heard and see that she just doesn't seem authentic, which we're going to play a clip from CNN in a second, and also a body language expert in 1 second comparing Amber Heard to these deception that Jussie Smollett had. So we've got a few of these types of clips going around too. Amber Heard acts scared as Johnny Depp gets close in court. So this is an interesting one. She's kind of being made fun of, by the internet for what they're saying is
So we'll come back
staged.
at 4:02.
So we see Johnny Depp is going to walk in her direction. Probably neither one of them knew. So what we know is Johnny Depp hasn't looked at her once. He vowed never to look at her again. So he's refusing to make eye contact. But you see right here, as she's walking away, she almost bumps. They kind of start walking in the same direction, and then she just freezes up. Watch this. Right there. See that? So then she gets all a little nervous, and then the deputies or whoever that is kind of separate them. And of course, it was innocent, but people are saying that this was Amber Heard acting. So watch this one more time. Right there. I don't know what that is, guys. I don't know what that is. A lot of people have said, Dave, are you on Amber's side or are you on Johnny's side? People are asking me this all the time. You on Amber's side or Johnny's side? And I say this. I'm so naive and so willing to accept whoever's on the witness stand, I just believe. That's how it is. I want to believe Johnny Depp because I don't want to believe he could commit these crimes. But I also want to believe Amber Heard because I don't want to think someone could just lie about all of this. And that's kind of where I stand with both. I kind of don't want either to be true. Now we have another clip here where Amber Heard literally posed for a photo on the stand for the media. This is going around. And I kind of want to debunk this one. Check this out.
272, please.
So she's going to pause, and the claim is that she's pausing for a photo. Watch this. You see that? I'm going to show that one more time. Watch this. One more time. Now, what's interesting is, first of all, there's obviously no flash photography allowed in the courtroom. But look at Johnny Depp now. Okay, watch Johnny Depp's face. So they would be looking at each other because she'd be on the witness stand and he'd be, where he sits over in the front of the courtroom. So what's actually going on is there's a flash that's happening on both of their screens at the same time. So it's not a photo being taken, at least not with a flash. Could she, why would she need to pose for a photo when anyone can get a screen grab of the whole trial? The whole thing's being filmed. So I think this is kind of like another form of confirmation bias where people think she's doing something because they're looking for nefarious activities. Right there. Now there was a snap made.
And after you both return.
Listen one more time. Who knows, folks? Who knows? That snap coincided with whatever flash happened on the screen there. Could it have been a screen grab? Some people are saying, oh, there's just a screen grab happening. I guess we won't know. Now, what we have here is other information that a lot of people are passing around, which is so far not information that's being put in this trial, but was in the 2020 UK trial. And, I'll set this, I'll read the tweet. Amber Heard took out a temporary restraining order against Johnny Depp, then proceeded to set up a meeting with him where she asked him to hug and cuddle her. What if I die without you, she said. So just have a listen.
Save it all. All this, everything you just been through.
I just wanted to touch you. Just say,
Really? After all this shit you just said?
I just wanted to give
After
you
all
a
this
hug.
shit you fucking accused me of? You want to touch me?
Please stop. Please stop. Please, I just wanted to hug you and say bye. I wanted to end that.
And he says, why on earth would I want to hug you when you said all of this shit?
Okay, so that was from the UK trial. And guys, look, I watched this and it's for me, I don't know about you guys. There's no dancing on anyone's grave. There's no, oh, this person's a liar and a psychopath. It's just sad. It's sad all around. Here is a body language expert analyzing Amber Heard after she initially took the stand.
We see just at the end of that clip there, Amber sucked in her lip and bites her lip. This is concern and stress. The nerves of our lips are stimulated by her sucking in her lip like that. It's as if back in the day when we sucked our thumb, it's that comforting gesture. So we see that. The problem with Amber in her testimony is that she does all these start-stop sentences. This is congruent with someone who is being deceptive. In the clips you played earlier, it's interesting because her percentages are off. You know, the question was, do you remember the first time you were hit? And she says yes, and she stacks the deck in the beginning. This is something we saw with Jussie Smollett, who staged a hate crime in Chicago a couple of years ago. He did a huge percent, about 60% up front in his story. The actual incident where this bad stuff happened to him was like 20%, and then a short after. We're seeing the same thing here with Amber Heard. She's stacking the deck up front. She gives us this big stress about how much cocaine he had in this bottle. She's giving us irrelevant information. Liars will often do this, Vinny. They'll give us a lot of truthful information at the front. They're stacking the deck, right? They're telling us all these things are truthful. I believe that the cocaine was there. I believe it was a big bottle. I believe they were sitting on the couch together. The problem is when she gets to the actual attack, it is such a small percent. It's maybe 15%. We have a big before, a big after. The incident itself is small. The percentages are off here. We're always looking for about 30% up front, 20 to 30%, 50% of the attack, and then we're looking for a small after.
Interesting. So they're saying that she's probably telling the truth with a lot of the context, the cocaine, the drinking, the drugs, and all that, but then isn't giving too much explanation of what is the illegal, the domestic violence. Again, this is a body language expert. They come with their own biasness. And again, are they... would this information even be allowed in court? Is it junk science? I have no idea, folks. Our final clip, CNN says a little inauthentic defense attorney breaks down Amber Heard's story.
Feel Amber Heard's testimony has helped or hurt her defense?
Well, I think it will start to hurt possibly on cross-examination. I'm not sure if it's really helped because Depp set a really high bar in terms of likability and relatability that I'm not sure she can meet, let alone beat. You have the substance of her testimony, also testifying about different forms of abuse, but then you also look at the form, and I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm by no means a body language expert, but there's something a little unauthentic, little rehearsed.
Inauthentic.
Testimony, and I'm not sure that the jury is going to relate to her the way that they related to Depp. And also, again, we can't throw out all the evidence that we heard between witnesses, recordings, admissions by her that she was striking Depp.
All right, so that's what we have, folks. We've got obviously Johnny Depp got shots fired first. He got his story out there first. And people are kind of sticking with that as the base. And now it's whether or not Amber's got any shred of credibility. That's what they feel. Let me know what you guys think. We're going to have tons of other content coming your way. I'm doing a live stream at noon today, Pacific Standard Time. That's 3 p.m. East Coast time to celebrate 10,000 subscribers. You guys doubled our YouTube channel this week. So I'll be doing a live stream. You can call the voicemail number. We're going to have, tons to chat about with regards to this story and others. So now that there's no trial today or next week, we'll be doing a few more lives and sort of breaking down all the information that's already out there. There's a ton of it. Do me a favor, follow me on Instagram at DNeals. And if on the off chance you live in Los Angeles, I've got a show 1 week or 6 days from today, Dave Neal and Friends stand-up comedy show at the Nightcap in Burbank. Go to my Instagram at DNeals if you want to check that content out. All right, let me know what you guys think. More content coming your way. Bye, everybody.